build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
Colin, still here.
Still here. We just recorded the match. If you want to go get our rundown of all the action yesterday, that's available. It'll be in your podcast players or YouTube or on Recast as well, which we post that on there. A wee bit of content for them. Right, Colin, are we going to Europe? Let's kick off with that question.
I am going July, Mallorca. Yep. Who you doing anything?
France. You can see folks are going away to get to France, and they took it literally. They're going for a couple of months, so I think we'll probably go at some point to visit them. They're getting renting a house for a couple of months, just living out there for a wee bit over the summer. Quality. I'd like to do that.
Aye. Sorry, if you've got the time, no bad.
Aye.
No bad. I think we are. I think Hibs are as well. Yeah. I think it's top 5 as well. So we've got about Livingston, Aberdeen are only a couple of points behind us.
Aye, they are.
2 or 3.
2. I think they're 2 behind. I think we saw in the group chat earlier on that they're 2 behind. I haven't verified that or fact checked it, but we'll go with that.
But that's it. I mean, so if you're Hearts, you may be thinking, "Fuck, we have to go 5th."
Imagine. Right, we'll go right into the talking points because there's a lot to get through for the game. Just as I'm getting kind of calling up, cracking winning. We spoke before about the importance of this game, the Livingston one, when we were talking about whether or not it was possible to get third. So big support going through yesterday. I think there's about 3,500 Hibs there. How we've seen it often, Hibs let down a big support. In instances like that. So to go and get the win, what do you think that said about the team?
Well, hopefully it's marking a bit of a change, and we can try and get away from all this fucking shite that resurfaces every time we lose a game about soft centres and boy bands and loser mentalities and mediocrity and all that stuff that comes up. Because it was comfortable yesterday, wasn't it? And I was one of them that was saying last week or whenever we spoke about it, that like we need to beat Livingston before we can start talking about can we get European place or even challenge for third. I've done that now. But I would also then say if we lose to Rangers on Wednesday night, it doesn't mean it's all over either, and we can't all start fucking having temper tantrums and chucking our toys at the pram either. Because we've seen that Rangers can. I don't think they've done it much under Beale, but they went to Tynecastle and fucking wiped the floor with him. About a month ago, so they've got it in them to do it. So let's not have the drama if we didn't win on Wednesday, because I'm sure I've not been reading much on the message boards and that, but I'm sure it's now how many we've got to take off them rather than can we take a point. And I don't think it's not going to be easy still. So I think it's to a draw on Wednesday night.
I still have my expectations that we'll get 0 points for the next 2 games. I hope we do better than that, but if I was being...
The next one's the one where you think, hopefully we can take some, because it's a home game. And it's Rangers, which is the easier of the two. On paper, like in real life. Whereas away to Celtic, you're thinking, just keep the goal difference intact a wee bit.
Aye. Right, let's go into the talking points. So, thanks to everybody who submitted them. First one's from 2-1 Mother of Humiliations. It's an interesting Twitter handle. So, there's a time right for some Hibs-related mural on Easter Road or Leith, crowdfunded or club or joint.
Is this to do with honesty game?
No, it's
like
just
a 48 day fucking you had putting the second goal.
Just one of the talking points. First one that came in.
Aye, yeah, why not?
I'm sure Hibs had talked about having plans for when the trams go in to have. Were you there when we talked about it? It might have been when John and I met with Greg McEwen when he was still at the club. They're saying the idea is like to have like an Easter Road way or a Hibernian way from the tram stop, so you'd follow like a sort of route, and as you go along, it would be like Hibs themed from the tram stop up to the stadium, which would be pretty cool. Okay, right. Yeah, I'd love to see. I think the idea of having the local area with Hibs stuff is good. Should have it.
Just when they start Greg Stevenson up. with even at that, and that's at the stadium, like it's not in Leith, but it's on the side. You went, oh, that's still there. They've never fucking changed it, like. But it'd be good to even just update that every now and again.
Aye, we just need to win the cup again.
Aye.
Get a new one. Kaiser Susie said the lack of negativity these days is making me uncomfortable. Jeff Ashton followed up and says, "Wait till Colin speaks." So do you sense a shift in mood? Obviously, you would expect it given the way results have gone. What do you think of that?
So what do you think? I think it's because we're winning. Like we lose a couple of games, the next two, something will keep back. Mentality stuff and all that.
Aye.
Again, the big game stuff, all that. It's all right doing it against fucking Livingston and Motherwell and that, but no beat Hearts and Rangers and Celtic now turned us over. It'll all come back. It's all sitting there just bubbling away, like folk. And I like to think I'm no like that, but some folk have an opinion. That's their opinion, and they'll never change it, despite any. So they want it to be true. So it's like, what's that thing called? That
confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Aye. And then they go looking for reasons to say, "See, I said that all along."
Aye.
And so that's there, and it's a kind of culture in society. It's not just the football fans, but it's like I fucking decided that ages ago. It's even like I hate Tories, and it's like, well, do you hate Tories, or do you hate some of their policies? Because you might agree with some of their policies and no other policies. That doesn't make you a Tory. You know what I mean? And it's like they just then look for. So anyway, I think it's bubbling. I think it'll be there. I think there'll be people sitting waiting. And I know there's standard posters and that on Twitter and stuff that get called out, or they were getting called out last night. I've seen a couple of tweets saying, where are they? They'll be waiting. They'll be waiting to come back and say, see, tell you. Because that's just the way of the world. So I don't think it'll go away, unfortunately.
There was a brilliant post on Hibs.net. I say brilliant, right? It's kind of one of these like sort of simple ones that I just go, that's fucking superb, that. Person just says, happy to say I was right about Lee Johnson all along. Let it be a lesson that knee jerkers give people time. I just love that kind of the simplicity of the I tell you that. But other folk will be as quick to jump the other way when
as soon as we lose 2 games in a row, and they'll say, see, I said in fucking August. I said before he even signed it, didn't I?
And it will invariably go wrong at some point, because that's what happens in football. You have peaks and troughs.
That's it. We've got to lose a game again before the end of the season.
Ryan Lyle asked, what's our best 11 when the players injured come back? Bench was strong yesterday, first time in a while we can say that. Another great display and a fitting result for Ron. So probably not got time to run through a best 11 for us now, but I don't think we're that far off it. I mean, you'd have... So I'm assuming McGeady isn't going to come back for us because he's out for, 4 to 6 months. I don't think we'll renew the contract given how few games he's played, although you never know. So
it's tough, actually. It's really hard. When you even think of Boyle as well, when take McGeady out of the equation, but Nisbet, Kukarevich, Newell, you would assume would be first team starters. The two in defensive midfield, you're thinking, well, they're kind of, you can't start changing them.
Aye.
And then you probably say, well, Newell's probably a better footballer than Diego, right? But is he better at that job? No. So what is it you're wanting? So then you're thinking, what formation is it? I like that formation, like I was saying. So then you'd stick with the 2 in there as the 2. Then the 3, well, Campbell's probably played the year so far. Definitely in the short list. So then Newell comes in for Henderson, but then you've got Boyle, Nisbet, Yuan,
Kukarevich, Hoppe, McCurdy.
With the last McCurdy's well at the picture, isn't he?
Well, he's injured. Like that's the thing.
So he's not even in that ballpark.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. No.
Do you think he might be like Yuan though? Like Yuan was getting written off earlier in the season. Folk were saying he's shite and he's not at level. And then
I'm not saying he's definitely shite either. I'm just saying that he's no going to get. He's not going to get. The guys have all came in and shown more than him, so he's not going to get a start ahead of them. So then he's not going to get the chance to prove and turn over.
Aye.
Because he's just not getting ahead of any of them. Because Yuan Kukrevich, Nisbet have all scored, well, loads more goals than him. He's only scored one. And then, like Boyle, McGeady, if it was going to play him out wide, he's just not as good or as effective as them either. So, like, where is he going to get a game? He's just not going to get a game, is he?
Nah, that's fair point. You've got McGuinness as well to consider.
Fuck, aye, McGuinness.
Jake Doyle Hayes, but I mean, I think Jake Doyle Hayes
Christ.
probably doesn't get in the team. Although it's interesting because when he has been fit, he's been in contention. Like Johnson's played him. I think whether he fancies him or if he doesn't. It's a really weird one considering we were prepared to let him go. You would think he doesn't fancy him, but he plays him when he's fit. I think it's really difficult. The back four probably picks itself now. But then you've got
no loads of choice there anyway, is there?
the only one really come in there is Rocky. But I don't think
Rocky comes in ahead of either of those two, by the way.
No.
As much as we were talking him up and all that, I think he's a bit more like Poaches in his style, and that he's a bit more ill-disciplined positionally in that compared to they two. They're basic defenders doing defender stuff.
Yep, Chabrai and Cadden, I think they both get in the now. Well, I mean, you could toss a coin, Chabrai and Stevenson, I think.
Hopefully the laddie McIntyre will start pushing for that position.
You'd like to see that.
Hopefully he'll do it. He's very here, so.
Is he?
He was at the school my kids go to. I
nice
found that out in the last few while. So.
Oh, well, definitely. Good luck to him. Next one we've got is Jimmy. Jim Gardner says, Will Fish is getting better with every game he plays as a centre half.
Aye. You wonder, you look at it now and you think, you never even got a sniff until Christmas or January.
Aye.
Like, never even got I didn't even get a minute.
Well,
maybe
he played that
he came on a couple of times. He came off the bench once or twice for a few minutes.
Aye.
And then he started the game at Tynecastle right back. So you think, well, how was he not getting? He must have seen it, mind you. Did he see him in training? Because there was that many of them fucking training. As we'll come on to, I suppose, in extra time.
Well.
So no, he's been fairly decent. I think he's not anything spectacular. He's just not making any mistakes. But that's kind of what I want for a defender.
Aye.
I think he did spectacular. Go just head it away, go and get rid of it, and see if you can pick a pass into a good midfielder. Just do that.
Well, I thought Fish yesterday was. I thought he strolled the game, but we said that a few times about him. Really good, kind of coming out of defence when he needs to, but he doesn't do it at daft times. Like he's not getting caught out and losing the ball. Obviously, his ball through to Yuan for the equaliser was smashing. Obviously, it took a wee deflection, but on its way. But
it was direct. It was the aim way he aimed it. It wasn't like it took directed it another way.
Aye. I think he's grown into it. It was interesting to hear Alan Preston talking him up after the game as well on Sports Sound. He sort of singled him out.
But was it? You just said it was interesting to hear Alan Preston. Like, cut that out. Let's stop talking straight.
Fucking hell, we're done. The one thing I thought we were almost uncancelable, and then it goes to say something like that. That's us done.
He must be his agent.
I noticed that. I noticed that he'd mentioned them. It wasn't that interesting though. But he singled him out as like an example of quality players that Hibs are playing now. But he said about obviously losing Poaches, who was getting a game ahead of him. He said, but then you look at him coming from Man United. Yeah, he's got like a good contract there that they obviously see something in him. And I think the point he was making is unlikely Poaches will reach the heights of Man United. And Fish might not reach. That's what I was going to say. Fish might not reach the heights of Man United's first team. But he's in contention. At least he's closer to it.
Well, okay.
Aye.
It's Alan Preston. I can't take it seriously to start with, because it's Alan Preston, and he'll have an angle on it. Like he'll be on the books with his agency or something.
Aye. He's funny about Wormy Preston. I used to hear him and he would always have digs at Hibs. I used to love it when Hibs were getting hammered and everything. He'd always talk up hearts. But I found it was something changed. Maybe it was when Yuki got the job, or maybe when Yogi, because him and Yogi are, I think, if they're related or
Cousins.
something, or there. Aye.
Mm.
But he wouldn't have said that many bad things about Hibs. Then Hibs sacked Yogi and he went fucking totally at Hibs. I find him quite balanced now. He always tries to talk Hibs up.
Yeah, I think he's pish.
Well, there's that as well.
I think he's absolutely pish. And you get into him, it's like I kind of moan about the pundits on there, but then I moan that some of them were good in the 80s when we were at primary school, and they're still on the radio, Pat Bonner and Willie Miller and that. Alan Preston wasn't even a good fucking player.
No.
So, he's only played a few games more professional than I have. You know what I mean? He was injured most of his career. I looked him up once. It's like, he signed for clubs, hardly played, and now he's a fucking agent and a pundit. Like, how?
Was he a manager? Did he manage Livingston at one
I think
point?
he was at Livingston when they won the cup.
I
I think he was an assistant manager, maybe, or coach or something. But aye, it's just incredible to me that he's still like relevant. If he wasn't even relevant, anyway.
Nah, they had Peter Grant on BBC today on the radio.
Amazing. Again, in the 80s, he was good in the 80s.
Aye, he was a player when I was a wee laddie.
Aye. That's what I mean. And
Aye.
Paul McStay in that.
Aye. Right, Lex Loafer said get the loan players Riley, Fish and Miko on a season-long loan and add a couple of similar standard for next year. Add Boyle and we're flying. Big credit to Lee Johnson for our turnaround. Ditching the young player model was the best decision in years. Do you think it's been ditched altogether, or do you think they just ditched it for this team now?
Ditched the what player?
The young
Model?
player.
Young player.
So I think the idea of bringing in Junior Tavares and Bojang and so on.
I didn't even think that was what I never even thought of that. That was the model. I'm not sure. Like, is he suggesting sign them three on another season long loan and get another couple of loan deals in? So like half the team be loans. Don't know if I'm on board with that. Like, but I kind of know where he's going with it because they're doing well, eh?
Well, we spoke about it
on extra time
last week, about loans and the benefit if you can get a standard that you're not able to get permanently.
Yeah.
Canon Hannon said, do we just tell you and now you're staying, we're paying? If we get Europe, remember fifth could get it. Would that be enough to get Egan Riley and Fish back for a full season loan?
Don't know if it would. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Eh? These boys didn't care. Usually they're just there for their own personal reasons, development, rather than like, I get to play in July in fucking Latvia, because that's effectively what that is.
Aye, I suppose it depends.
You finish third for it to be worth anything, like to these guys, because then they're getting a crack at the European group stage.
I think for the parent clubs, that's where it becomes worth it. If you could get into the group stage, then you're probably looking at it, and Hibs probably become a more attractive option than a championship team, because we spoke about it before. That tends to be like the path that look at, don't they? Send them up to Scotland, get them in the championship, and then if they're shining after that, they'll have a crack at a Premiership club. But I think if you're right, if you say that you can play top flight Scotland plus group stages of the Europa League or even the conference, then it's worth them probably putting them back out and loan and testing them at that level, because most of the Premiership clubs will have aspirations of getting into that sort of level.
Although they get there and go, oh, fuck, I wish we hadn't. Wish we finished 7th because now we've got these games on Thursday night.
Charlie McGrew thinks he made up. Still on the loan players topics, late entry. Loan players. Is anyone else worried that the loan players we have are snapped up by Rangers at the end of the season, given they need to rebuild on the cheap?
That's a possibility, isn't it? It's always a way. Mind the gap. Was he even on loan?
No, we had him on a 3-month.
Signed him on a short-term deal.
Aye.
It's just always the danger that they come here, do well, and Rangers Celtic take them. That's the same with your permanent players.
Aye. I wonder if
for them to get a loan.
They maybe had their fingers burnt with it though, because look at Rangers. The last one that would be comparable would be Brandon Barker, who did quite well at Hibs. I mean, he wasn't amazing, was he? He was good.
Purple patch for a few weeks, eh?
Aye.
And he looked alright. He looked promising. Yeah.
But he never.
He's doing now, eh? Turkey for a hair transplant. Mind that photo?
Oh, the photo was horrendous. Eh? That's one where you would, Ken, if you've been in denial with it, and then you see that and you're going, I'm going to have to do something about this because
it's got to take off by now.
Aye, because you look like a Charlton, kind of like one of the Charlton brothers.
Aye. It's because it was wet as well. As soon as it rains and you've got that kind of hair, you're fucked.
He's playing for Ammonia in the Cypriot First Division.
Aye. Is that total? Well, I don't know if that's good or not.
I think what level the Cypriot First
Is that
Division's
their
like.
top league? I didn't care if that's their top league.
Who knows?
No, no.
If you're an Ammonia
Or the best
official,
one, then.
or if you listen, Brandon, let us know. Are you in the top flight?
Probably nipped over there to get served and then end up just fucking signing.
Aye, that's what happens. But I don't know if the players that we've got on loan now will have played enough games for Rangers to be sniffing about them, because there's no the hype for the media. Do you know sometimes you get a player and the media get on board with them, and then all of a sudden Rangers and Celtic start to taking notice of it? I don't think we've had that with any of our players. We've sort of gone under the radar, with the exception maybe of Kukovic, who Tom English was talking him up massively yesterday after the game as well. Not interestingly enough.
I didn't mean Tom English.
All right, he's got
Actually, I know it's because he's done the Budge stuff. I think Tom English is right. I'd rather have fucking journalists in that on run listen to these fucking ex-players for the 80s, you know.
Aye, I had the whole. We'll not go covering all ground. Tom English with the whole league reconstruction, Hearts relegation stuff.
Yeah, how that's going on, by the way.
I've been reconstruction
before, because it obviously a 14-team league. That was a big thing for Hearts a couple of years ago. I don't know how she's getting on with it. I heard much in the papers about it.
I don't know. I think they've to kind of go back to the drawing board with some of it, but they've not come back with a new proposal or to reiterate the benefits.
It was really, really important for Scottish football. I think she was saying
critical.
Just went all quiet.
Aye, just gave up on it. Fraser 2610 asked, I said, "Would absolutely love to get Europe, but how ready are we?"
What does that mean? How ready can you be? Like you need to get there to find out how ready you are and then build on it to be more ready the next year. I guess that's what Hearts are trying to do this year. They're saying, right, we've been packed every week, apart for the shite team. Next year we'll add a couple of players to it and we'll try and be the third. So the second best team in the league.
If we qualified today and we had our starting 11 that we were just talking about 5 minutes ago, gone into group stages of conference even, do you think they would compete at that level?
No, don't think we would. No, because look at Hearts. Like they're a better team than us. They got packed off the good teams, like proper doings. 5-1s in that. So no.
So we're not ready.
No. But are we ever going to be ready?
Well, I suppose that's the.
You need to get into Europe to get the money to make yourself more ready.
So you reckon you have a couple of seasons with building up to it? I suppose that was what Ron Gordon wanted to do. Was his vision for Hibs was to kind of compete regularly in the group stages in Europe,
bringing the money in to keep building the squad to keep getting better. So no, based on just I know it's like fucking saying, well, we beat Livingston 4-1, but Livingston beat them 3-0, so we've beat that team 7-1. It's not quite like that, but it's look at the team that are above us in the league that we're told are a lot like miles ahead of us. They got to do most weeks, apart from the shite team that was in the group. That's maybe where we would be if we got to the group stages. Depending on the draw, That's what you're looking at. You've got to get one good team, one decent team, Hibs, and one shite team.
You probably you're probably going to have to invest a fair bit of money, I think, still to make us competitive at that level. I think the fact that we're not.
Scottish teams are shite in Europe. Traditionally, it's a tradition thing. It's no just
like Hockmanay.
Yes, like we do every year. We get into Europe. I say Scottish teams get into Europe, and they're done before you fucking aim for your summer holidays. You're sitting on the beach going, "Oh, Aberdeen's playing the night," and they get fucking hammered off a team you've never heard of and never hear of
Wales. Aye. It's an interesting one. I thought it was a good question when it came in. I was like, actually, if you were to assess the team now, I don't think, based on the fact we've not been able to put a consistent, we've got a bit of consistency now, but our league form hasn't been great. We're capable of losing games to shit teams. I think if you put us in against really good teams, and we've not shown that we can beat the really good teams yet in the league. We've come up short against the three teams above us. Have all beaten us. So I don't think we're ready. I think there's a bit of work to be done there. Jeff Ashton says, with the amount of injuries and a suspension picked up, as well as 3 points dropped to the rivals, have we fucked up Livy's top 6 ambitions? I hope so. That pitch belongs in the sea, he says. It was nice to see you yesterday, Jeff.
I don't think. Where are they now? The 7th?
Yeah, they went out 7th. Yeah. And they're in shite form as well, Livy.
They have
toiling.
been, but they tend to do a bit like that. They just didn't get the streaky Lee stuff attacked in them because their fans didn't fucking keep
Streaky
going on
David.
about it, aye, and the manager's not called Lee as well. That's a secondary. They're still only 7th, and it's quite tight. St Mirren got an absolute doing today. I've not seen the game. I started watching the build-up and I ended up not watching the game. But I seen they scored early on, and I thought, oh, you fucker. And then, next thing, 5-1. Fuck it hell. So I don't think they're out of the top 6 yet. And I don't think they're out of there. And the pitch isn't great, but same for everybody. Same for both teams.
Aye. I was interested. Oh, fucking hell! It must be my catchphrase. Saying that interesting. I listened to. Aye. Fucking hell! Right. Hopefully everybody finds this interesting. No, I listened to Martindale on the radio yesterday. So I was coming after the game. I had the Aberdeen Dundee United game on in the car. At half time, they got the interview with Martindale, and he was still talking about. I think we're safe for relegation. He says we've probably got enough points to know worry about that. We need to try and find a way to get back into the top 6. But he was worried that the players that he lost with injuries and obviously the suspension to Fitzwater, who I think is their, I think he called him the best centre half. They might toil a wee bit about it. I wouldn't be sad, I have to say, if Livingston didn't get the top 6. I've almost kind of fed up of hearing folk talking about them punching above their weight. I'd like them just to punch their weight for a bit,
and also it means we wouldn't have to play them again.
Aye. Although the next one would be Easter Road. We tend to beat them at Easter Road, I think. We have no bad record at
we beat them.
It's home.
Aye, I mean that's it. Was it 4-0 at Christmas?
Aye. It was an easy win.
4-0, 4-1 the last 2 games. It's been fairly comfortable, and even the one at Livy at the start of the year, we should have come away with a point anyway.
Minimum a point.
So aye, they're no bad. I didn't mind them. I didn't mind them. I've not got anything really against them. I think the pitch stuff bores me a wee bit. But more about that pitch more than the do Kilmarnock's and Hamilton's.
Aye, why do you think that is? Is the Kelly pitch better?
Well, it might be a better standard, but I don't know. Surely the same principle applies, though. Or there shouldn't be plastic pitches in a top league and all that stuff that folk come out with. Why are you only talking about it, Livy? Maybe they seem to put Mary the pellets down, but they both look shite in the telly.
Did you hear Lee Johnson talk about it after in his interview?
No, I heard he did, but I never heard what he said.
He said it's still. It was something like it still infuriates me or something. I can't remember the exact word, but it was quite strongly that it still infuriates me that there's plastic pitches in the top division. It was words to that effect. I can't remember if it was exactly that he said. But
better to be said after a win, but then folk didn't report it as much. It's funny. It's one of them. It's like a soup grapes when you lose, and they report it and it makes headlines because Nielsen said it after the draw, didn't he?
Aye.
And it was like, fucking the grapes, and it was in the papers. Johnson's came out and said it. Did he say fuck all about it? It's 1-4-1. So it's easy to say it when you win. It's better to say it when you win. Nobody gives a fuck.
You give me a credibility when you say it. Then it's definitely no excuse, is it? You're just like, we won, and the pitch is shite.
And then we were making excuses for it. The last time when we go week through there, and it was like, oh well, maybe we should have trained on a plastic pitch before it, and we're used to better surroundings and all that stuff. Well, what did they do this week? They just straight East Mains and fucking drive through as usual, or?
Well, no. I think you're missing obvious and fucking glaring us in the face. Actually, they've listened. They've listened and went, these cunts are onto something. And then they've just adjusted it and they've made the players away. Listen, this is what the issue is when you go through. You haven't thought about this yet. But these fannies on this podcast, and listen to what they say. They've played it back on a cassette. I imagine it's happened. They've recorded it off on a cassette, taken the cassette and played it. It's click. There's a bit of hiss. Listen to what they say. This bit here. You all think is beneath you. Can it be beneath you? You need to get out of that mindset, and they've all gone, oh, now they've said it, that's probably right.
Makes
And then
sense.
they've gone in, incredible performance, really, 4-1. They hadn't looking like they were above it or anything. They all rolled up their sleeves and got stuck in.
Mm.
Even Henderson, like the ones that we say are normally lightweight, they were
Yeah.
like, and Henderson's
Even
been at
even the
Celtic,
boys
do you
coming
know?
for the big teams at England
Aye.
that normally come in and go, if I'm doing you a favour.
So, like Jimmy squaring up to James Scott, obviously changed things for him. This has changed things for us at Livy. Whereas you can thank us
Like
later,
it.
everybody. Aye, that's our,
Yep.
I can't get any other reasonable explanation for it.
No. They were obviously training around the plastic East Mains this week.
Well, aye, they might have done that as well. Aye, it might have been tactics and better players and
Imagine
that.
the top flight club having a plastic pitch in the training ground.
Aye. For when you bring back players for injury, that's what they use it for.
I think I'm used to it.
To rehabilitate them. It was that was just me being up to mischief on one of our WhatsApp groups. I was just I didn't even believe it. Can we you just chuck something in when you're a bit like devil's advocate with something?
Yeah.
That was one of those moments. Just like, do Livy don't get ACLs?
I know. That's the thing. But that's the because there was a whole thing about it. Stuart Little and that done a whole report on it, didn't they? A couple of years ago.
Aye.
I think he was arguing that. I could be wrong. Was he not arguing that it makes no fucking difference?
I think so, aye, because you get as many injuries on grass as you do on the artificial surface.
They report it more when it's on the artificial.
Aye. What I would say though, and I can you get shite games on grass as well. I've never seen a good game at Livingston. Like yesterday, we played well, but the actual when you're watching it, you're going fucking like I was saying earlier about the ball just bounces about the place, and
I suppose that's the standard because a Premier League pitch you would expect to be good. But when I go and watch youth football, you see better football in that official.
Aye,
because the ball rolls more true rather than bumping into a hole that Doug's fucking dug.
fucking a molehill. Aye, there's stuff like that. Aye. Aye, that's fair. I think the better quality pitches should give you a better quality game. Anyway, enough about pitches because it is, as has been pointed out to us before, tedious. Neil Renton, hiya Neil, said, when was the last time we had a transfer window as good as the last one?
Oh, I don't know.
So do you accept the premise of the question? This is what the politician thinks when they will answer and they go, I didn't agree with the premise of your question. Are we happy to accept that the last transfer window was a really, really good one?
It was only, that's the thing, I suppose, because all we done was get rid of players. Who did we bring in?
Egan Riley, Jago, and Hoppy.
Aye.
Anybody else?
Which is no, that was it because it was definitely numbers out rather than numbers in.
Yeah.
We still never signed the centre half. Which has been the one every window for the last 2 years is it's always signed the centre half.
Egan Riley can play centre half.
Aye, but he's not played centre half. He's not been signed as centre half, has he? So, but it does on paper look a good window, purely because we're still talking about, despite losing all the players or letting go all those players, we're still not what we're left with. We're going, can he pick a team out of that? It's still too much to choose for. Not defensively, but certainly midfield forward. There's plenty now. I don't know. I can't think of the last time I had a good window. It might have been when Lennon brought in Scott Allen and got rid of Bain and that.
Aye, that window was pretty spectacular how it turned the season around. I think we obviously had some good results after the window's closed, and so everybody's views on how good the window is are probably favourable at the minute. Be interesting to see when we get to the season end, and we know whatever happens in the games coming up, particularly in the post-split fixtures, because I think we're likely to finish top 6. Right, that's my view. I think we still have a chance for third, probably finish fourth is my gut feeling. But the post-split fixtures, when we're playing all the good teams in the league, how we fare in those games, I think if we do badly in those, folk will be going, we didn't do enough in the transfer window. We'll probably have a different opinion on it.
Or one injury at centre half,
Aye.
that could come up right away.
Isla asked, in the current squad, who gets dropped for Boiler?
In the current squad, like as in yesterday's team.
Aye, so if
Who
you take,
played out there? Who played out there yesterday? On the right. Was it Hopper? Hopper then?
aye, probably Hoppy is the one that drops out, because you're not dropping Yuan, are you?
No. And Boyle plays on the right, and Ewan doesn't really, I think he's played on the right very much. He's done spells there during
pops
games
up now and again, yeah.
Hopper, he's on loan as well. So
aye. Tony Swanson says, what was going on with the announcer? You'll not have picked this up on the TV probably. The announcer sounded like there's Josh likened him to the guy in The Simpsons who's got the sort of squeaky voice. Sounds like dead nervous. It sounded like he might have been being penetrated with something as he was speaking. Like he's, I don't know. He was very good, very polite, and very respectful announcer. Had no problems with what he said, but he did come across like his voice was breaking for large chunks of it. But also at the same time, sounded like he was old. So
I'd be regressing.
It's a good question. I don't know what was going on with it, Tony. Tony also asked, it's a great game. Thought personally Hanlon and Fish were solid at the back. Chabraya had some issues dealing with Nubli again, but kept it to a minimum. Biggest thing for the lad was the macaroni pie, only rated 5 out of 10. Fell apart in his hand. Poor stuff. How would you handle somebody like Nubli, who's like it's just sheer strength almost, and it annoys me. Like, see players of this, they do like a wee step over, and I don't know for a second think Nubli's step overs are fooling anybody, or like he's a particularly skillful player. He just powers through people. But if you were like in your rugby days, Colin, if you were competing with somebody who was bigger than you and stronger than you, how did you deal with that physical disadvantage?
I'm trying to relate it to football, but you would with that there. Do you know? Just put 2 on him.
You could do.
Like you put, like do you know just do that, or do you try and stop the ball getting out to him? Like there's ways to limit the damage. I would have thought.
Yeah.
I don't know who your biggest, strongest defender is there, but do you stick Fish out to that side for the in certain phases of play to say, right, there's a fucking diagonal coming in. Chabraya nip into the middle and Hanlon nips out to the left back and they switch round.
You could do that.
So I've not heard much about Hanlon being struggling with physicality recently.
Nah, I said on the match when we recorded that, I think Nubli put himself up on Hanlon in the second half, and Hanlon dominated. It was, which was interesting because it is something that normally gets sort of thrown at Hanlon about him not being capable of dealing with the physical stuff. I spoke about it with Josh at the game. I said, it must be a fucking nightmare if you're a player and you see that there is a point you sort of say, maybe you didn't specifically set out to combat him, and you say, actually, we'll just focus on what we're doing and live with it. And they say, right, I might get the better of you. But rather than weakening us by putting, like you said, put 2 men on him and having to change your shape to deal with it, you can just do your best with it, but actually we'll try and control the ball and make him change his game so he's not as effective in the areas that he wants to be in. And I think that's probably
which is what we was going with the second point about trying not to try and cut it off rather than cut off the channels and all that.
Because Nubli ended up having to come back loads. Like he was coming back and putting in tackles and Yuan and stuff like that in the first half.
Because we stuck him out wide, and that's what I was going to say. Like we've done that before with, well, that's how the 3-5-2s worked well against Rangers in the past, isn't it? Because you put Boyle out there and you're not coming forward. You're defending the day, you're not attacking, and that then blunts their tactic.
I always think that's a good thing, but especially against the Rangers where they're relying on the fullbacks coming forward, is if you put somebody fast, you just go, you're fucked. Like he can run back to cover you, but you can't keep up with him going the other way. Yeah. Gaza said, our loan's a really good idea when players are playing really well. A gap comes to mind. Yes. So loans are a good idea.
Wasn't a loan that we said,
No, aye. short-term deal. There was a question about socks. I think we've covered this before with players that
The wee ones.
cut out the hole in the back of the socks.
Oh, aye, that's mad. That's like they cut the fucking bottom of the sock off now, and then they cut a big fucking hole in the calf.
Aye, so
And then you get the other ones that wear the wearing socks, so they're only coming up to like halfway up their shin as well.
aye, that's because what's his face? Grealish. Yeah, Grealish did that, and so everybody started copying. Stephen
But
Bell
he's got
said,
good calves.
"Oh,
Like
he
you've
has.
got to have cracking calves to do it.
He has."
Otherwise, you just look fucking stupid.
Aye. Stephen Bell said the slits in the back of players' socks these days, how much is too much? Kevin Nisbet's yesterday resembled some form of ancient Roman sandal. And Bikes, Beer and Coffee replied to that, say this is the latest fad to do with the material socks are made of, which is too tight across the calf muscle. Players have taken to cutting various patterns across the sock at the rear, or in some cases wear a sleeve on the leg to cover up the cuts. Do you think folk... do you think they feel like that's the case, or they've seen other people doing it and thought, I'm just going to do that?
100%. It's like the Beanie strips when Fowler wore them.
Aye.
No, sorry, they weren't the Beanie, and then somebody cut the bottom of their sock off to wear another pair of socks instead, and say, "Oh, it's better grip in the boot, isn't it?" Why do they not just make football socks with that grip?
Aye.
Or why don't they just make them wider if their calves are too tight in them? And if your calves are too tight in them, why does it matter? Like it's just a fad, man. Absolute pish, nonsense. How could a player with Pat Stannard have been if he'd cut a fucking hole in his calf?
Aye, that's it.
Or his socks on his calf, or fucking cut. Or if he had the gripper socks in the bottom, he would have been fucking world class.
See, if you're the kit man and you're collecting all the stuff in at the end, you're going, fuck's sake.
Because they're not reusable, they're in the bin.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you go, you're getting them back, I'm going to wash them. You're not cutting up a fucking other pair. So I'll get the Sharpie out and go, right, KN on this one side, then this bits.
Yeah.
And then when they come out to wash, you go, there you go.
You'll be catching on bits and you're fucking
this bit will be getting it
through the back.
Who's got the scissors? Who's got the scissors for my socks? And the kit man's going, don't you fucking worry about that. Just check them pre-cut. You've got last week's.
It's mad, that. It really is. I can't see and I bet there'll be folk listening going, that football players thinking, it's fucking. But it's just like, come on, it's folk just copy. And it's like I saw a clip during the week, and it was Casemiro coming down the stairs, and I think there was like some kind. I think there was a guy at the bottom of the stairs, like I think he was maybe disabled or something. I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. Right, somebody at the bottom of the stairs trying to get a high five and that off the players as they go past. And the first few didn't clock up and didn't do anything. Casemiro went over, gave them a cuddle, and it was like, look at Casemiro being a leader, and the rest of them have all gave him a cuddle as well, because they've just fucking copied him,
Aye.
Like, it's just like they think, we better all go and fucking shake his hand or whatever now. It's just like a complete follow my leader. It's not genius. It's there's no way with somebody sitting going, my calves are really tight in these socks. You know what I mean? It's fucking. They've all just went, Kevin Nisbet's cut a hole in them, I'm going to cut a hole in them.
Aye.
Fucking nonsense. Really.
Because you used to do that with Kevin your Burns, and I remember this when he passed away through, what was it, like last week or the week before, Billy Thompson, the ex-Dundee United goalkeeper.
Oh, the leggings.
Aye. We see when we used to play like the back green and that, when, particularly when it was through Whitburn, and Dundee United were good at that time. You're doing goals with your trousers on, because you wanted... He was a good keeper, and you wanted to be like Ken.
Maybe copied him though, for other goalies. Like other goalies would look at that.
Aye.
I think it gets cold. I didn't get
tight on. Aye.
What happened to? I think I seen a tweet recently. It might have been. I don't know if it was to us or no. Goalies used to come out with a wee bag and put it in the net.
Aye, wee wash bag. Nah.
We'll stop that.
Marshall comes out with a towel around him like he's just in the shower, around his neck.
Aye, but he doesn't have his wee bag.
That
like they used to have. Why did they stop that?
I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe they were getting choked.
It's just a fucking. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but it's like a complete. It's just a contagious thing, you know. It's like,
like a trend.
The Premier League, a trend. They've come out with. As I say, Beanie Reese's one I remember most, like back in the 90s, whenever it was. I'll get some of them players running it. They wear them anymore, They're all cut fucking holes in their socks instead. That helps them breathe better or whatever.
Maybe that's a market for us. Maybe you want to start producing sports socks that are pre-cut.
Aye, with this gripper sock in the bottom.
Aye.
Like they're whole. They're full sock. What wee ones and big ones. and some of them have got a hole in the back in the calf, so you can
Aye.
go, there you go, that's for your bunch of boys with the big calves. Funny enough, Grealish got big calves, he doesn't got a hole in the back of them, does he?
Nah, but he has his socks down at his ankles, doesn't he?
He's still got shin pads on, so there must be some.
But I think he puts kids' shin pads on. Like, there's no way he's got adult size shin pads on.
Can he be, yeah.
Which I think's mental, because he must get kicked more than a lot of players.
More than anybody else. He's most fouled in the league, isn't he?
It's if I was him, I'd be going, I want bigger shin pads. I'd be coming like a fucking cricket player.
That'll be an aerodynamic, can he?
Probably.
I think he might be a folk that copy it.
Cricketer. Right. Nearly out of time. Right, last couple I think we've got here. Darren McGrew thinks he made that up. Martindale, playful banter and red card scrapped, or outrageous behaviour and lifetime touchline ban?
I'm not bothered a fuck about it. I wouldn't care. Like, even if he was sticking his finger up at Marshall, like, and it wasn't in a jokey way, so what?
His explanation, he said Marshall was shouting over how long's left to go, and he went, "There's 1 minute." But how see if you say, like, if you were indicating one to anybody, you'd do that. Like, your index finger would be one.
Why would Marshall ask the Livingston bench and not the Hibs bench?
Again, 1 minute.
No, you've done it wrong.
Oh, aye, with the thumb.
You've done it wrong. You never put the thumb in. Aye, I didn't ken like that. I mean, I'm not bothered a fuck if he did mean it in a bad way. So what? Like, he's pissed off. His team's getting fucked.
It's mental that's the thing that they get offended by. Like, the referee's going, he's made a gesture, because guaranteed he'll have been shouting fucking this and fucking that, and the players will have been doing it all the way through the game. But he sticks a finger up, we get a straight red card for it. Unless he's done it at the ref, of course. So then it's probably a bit. But he said it, Marshall. I just hope that's the excuse they came. You're like, oh fuck, how did I try to explain away this one? I was just saying it was 1 minute left. That was it. It was a joke. Marshall's my mate. It was a joke. Ask him, Big Dave. He'll put a word in for me. Charlie McGrew thinks he made that up. Also said the next few games: Rangers at Easter Road, 3 points there for the taking. Celtic away, we're down 10-1 on aggregate, so not too hopeful. And then Motherwell at Easter Road, most worried about this game, if I'm honest. Win it, and I think third spot is on. Agree with any of that? All of that, or none of it?
When the Motherwell game in third zone, I think it's going to depend on what the team in third place's results are as well.
Nicely done. Aye, I like to you phrased that.
They've got Celtic midweek, so hopefully they take a scalping and we can even get a point, and then the goal difference comes a bit closer and a point closer, and then they'll maybe eventually start thinking, oh wait a minute, we're in a fight here, because I think they've quite registered it. I think they've dismissed it very much at the moment. So
aye,
probably based on previous history, like what we do.
Aye. Well, the thing is, now third's in our own hands. That's what the way I look at it, because we've got the two derbies to go. It is down to what we do. We just have to match them and then win the derbies, and then we've got third. But it's easier said than done, isn't it? Brunswick Bill said, I think the most notable feature of the Livy game and the Kilmarnock game is the midfield. Both games showed a toughness and grittiness in the midfield that hasn't been evident for a good while. Jago and Egan Riley together make a big difference. No boy band stuff.
Yep.
I totally agree with that.
Winning games against teams like that create the no boy band stuff.
Correct. Aye. But they've got a bit of everything about them. Like, and again, there's been conversations about Jago. He could play. Like, I didn't have any problem as a footballer, but between him and Egan Riley can definitely play football. Like, he brings the ball down, tries to run with it, picks a pass, and all the rest of it. So,
hopefully, we get a bit boy band stuff midweek, because that's the tradition, isn't it? We turn up against Rangers and that, but we turn up against Livy and Kilmarnock. So, we do have a boy band this week.
Tom Wallace said, I thought it was a pretty scrappy game as usual that the Spaghetti had. For once, the luck went our way. I liked Hibs' directness and attack. Hendo, my player of the match, though. Campbell ran the show later in the match. Campbell, see when they went down to, particularly 9 men, Campbell looked like kind of when there was always like a really good player at school that would be just kind of like picking passes and everyone just looked a cut above. Campbell was like that in the latter stages of the game. Totally, I'm in control here. He was.
That's what we needed, though. That's what Mickey Weir was saying on the telly as well. Just get the couple of midfielders, just keep the ball, didn't give them the ball, make them run about.
Aye, that's it. Stretch the game, make them run about. I said the same to Josh. Peds Keenan, Lee Johnson in a suit, yes or no?
Yes, aye. I liked it.
It was good look. Ross Grieve, the sports scene hate Hibs, or are we all tinfoil hat wearing weirdos?
A bit of both, I think. There's a bit of both in there.
Mike, will Livy blame the pitch for the loss, and how can Martindale signal to players how long is left without getting sent off?
Aye, you know,
Index
that's
finger.
a good question.
Aye.
Aye. Or wait a minute, if it was 6 minutes, he wouldn't be able to do it. 6 minutes left. Because with 1, you could do that. 2, that. 3, he's got the 2 hands.
Aye.
4.
Aye.
Well, 5. 5's where it stops.
Aye. Exactly. What if he doesn't do it with his hands and just goes, 1, you can't.
That's how he would say it if he was saying it.
Jack Moffat. All right, so just Jackson, I want apologies from every single page here on here, especially that. Right, I'll not read the last bit because it's just having a go at somebody, but it's on our Twitter if anyone wants to see it. Just saying fickle bastards.
It's true.
Football fans are fickle.
Yeah, we've all said stuff. It's just the repeated. It's the repetition of the point when you don't accept, despite facts being presented, that irritates me. But I don't know about we've all said that stuff on here about, like, even Fish after the derby. I was standing in doing spaces on January the 2nd or 3rd or whenever it was, going fuck him. Like, if he can't even shadow a ball, it wasn't about him being a centre half or a defender.
I think if we recorded that one point, I have to admit it. I think that was.
It would be out there.
And the last one I think we've got is second. Just have a wee look here. Yes, second last one. Mikey, how much are we paying Agent Omiyonga? I felt bad for Omiyonga yesterday, an own goal, and then gone off injured when they were already down to 10 men.
Wasn't he dominating midfield though, like what we're saying when we got beat?
No. And Guinness 2022, last one. Terrific 3 points, consolidating 4th spot and keeping pressure on for 3rd. Question: with the disappointing news on Aidan's injury, do we gamble on another year? Boyle and McGeady have never been in the same side. Would be amazing to see that.
I don't know about that. No sure. We need to see what other options are out there for us.
I don't think we can afford to. I just think you've got X amount of money.
Unless he's on a play or something.
Aye,
because he'll not need the money. Like, he'll have made his money.
Aye, looking if he'd be up for that, though, he'd probably get. Probably get an offer somewhere else anyway.
That's fine then.
Aye,
that's the
Anyway, right, we are going to talk about on extra time, which we'll record in just a few minutes, the resurgence under Lee Johnson over the last 10 games. I think we're 3rd in form. So we're going to pick away some of the reasons for that, what we think's behind it, and whether or not we can sustain it. So if you're a subscriber, you'll get that tonight. If you're not a subscriber, you can get it. You just go to our Twitter and click on the wee link. It's longbangers.hubwave.net. You can sign up and subscribe.
If you don't do that,
there we go. Thumb out. Thumb out. Thanks for sending in your talking points, folks, and we will see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.